Breaking news tonight here at 5. New dash cam video shows a man being attacked by a police dog and kicked several times by a St. Paul police officer.
I'm disappointed and upset by what the video shows.
Upsetting, disappointing, saddening. We heard those words a short time ago from the St. Paul police chief.
It came with an apology to a man who was bitten by a police canine and kicked by a police officer last June, just one day after Chief Todd Axtell took the job. Police played dash cam video from that June incident, which we'll walk you through with more details shortly. The video shows Officer Brett Palkowicz kicking a 53-year-old black man 3 times while the man was being subdued by a canine. The police chief says 2 of his officers' conduct during that incident simply did not live up to the department's expectations.
I'm disappointed and upset by what the video shows. I want you to know that the content of this video does not reflect the way we strive to do our job day in and day out. This simply isn't the St. Paul way.
Chief Axtell announced Officer Palkowicz, who was seen kicking that man in the video, has been put on indefinite leave without pay starting yesterday. He also announced K-9 Officer Brian Ficcadenny has been suspended for 30 days. Beyond that, in a settlement letter obtained by 5 Eyewitness News from Chief Axtell to Officer Ficcadenny, the chief says Ficcadenny will not return to the K-9 unit. The letter states he failed to control his K-9 in this incident, allowing the K-9 to be on the citizen's leg for approximately 70 seconds, resulting in disfiguration of the man's leg. That letter was signed by both Officer Ficcadenny and a representative of the police union. The president of the St. Paul Police Union, David Titus, responded immediately after the chief's announcement today, defending the officers, saying they were put in a dangerous situation and responded in a way they were trained.
The 2 principal officers involved in this video have extremely good reputations, morals, and work history. They work in good faith every day. They are family men.
5 Eyewitness News reporter Steve Tellier is here now to walk us through what happened before, during, and after that video. Steve.
Lindsay, someone called 911 to report a large group fighting with weapons on the east side of St. Paul. That he'd be handcuffed to his hospital bed. He was cited only for obstructing the legal process. Lindsay.
Thanks, Steve. And today we went back to the apartment complex where the incident happened and talked to people who were there at the time.
They ate him up, man. The dogs got him really, really bad. And that was something that I ain't never went through before. The police is already out there, so who the hell am I gonna call? I can't call nobody.
Witnesses told us there'd been a growing gathering in front of the building, but most people ran off by the time police arrived.
5 Eyewitness News has obtained the personnel files for officers Brett Palkowicz and Brian Ficcadenny. And those files show that Palkowicz, who was seen in the video kicking the man, began as a trainee in January of 2013 and was promoted to officer in May of that year. Less than a month later, he received an oral reprimand for improper procedure. That's the only discipline until the incident you saw on that video, June 24th. Ficcadenny, who released the canine during that encounter, started as a trainee in April of 2011 and became an officer in August of that year. His internal affairs file shows 3 previous disciplinary actions, all for what are called preventable accidents. For one of those, Ficcadenny received a day's suspension.
Within the last 15 minutes, the NAACP and the African American Leadership Council responded to the video.
It's gut-wrenching to watch it that in 2016, I'm being reminded of Montgomery, Alabama, Birmingham, the days of Bull Connors, when you're putting dogs on humans. There is no place in St. Paul for a dog to be put on a human.
He went on to say that they appreciate Chief Axtell for taking disciplinary action against the 2 officers, but they believe both officers should be terminated. Today, St. Paul Mayor Chris Coleman released a statement about the video. Coleman says, "I am deeply disturbed by what I saw in the video. I have full faith that the chief is handling this case appropriately and that appropriate discipline will be taken, end quote. The mayor goes on to say the chief and officers care deeply about building relationships with the communities they serve and that there is no room in the department for officers who do not perform their duties with honor and respect, end quote. And tonight, we want to provide you with more context on the issue of race relations with police.
Let's go in depth. Over the past year, it's an issue that's come front and center right here in the Twin Cities. This after 2 deadly officer-involved shootings and viral videos accusing police of discrimination that prompted protests and even change.
On November 15th, Minneapolis saw the start of an 18-day occupation at the police department's 4th precinct. The protesters were reacting to the shooting death of Jamar Clark. Nearly a year later, and his family is planning a civil lawsuit about his death. The officers involved have been cleared of any criminal wrongdoing by both the Hennepin County Attorney and the Minneapolis Police Department's Internal Affairs Unit. The Hennepin County Attorney says in this case and in future cases, he will no longer automatically forward cases of officer-involved shootings to grand juries.
And another officer-involved shooting of a black man in Falcon Heights sparked protests over the summer. Philando Castile was shot and killed by a St. Anthony officer July 6th. Castile's girlfriend live streamed the aftermath of the shooting on Facebook. She says Castile told the officer he had a permit to carry and he was reaching for his wallet when he was shot. However, a lawyer for the officer involved, Geronimo Yanez, says the officer was reacting to the presence of a gun when he fired. We're still waiting to find out if Yanez will be charged. The Ramsey County Attorney has not announced whether the case will go to a grand jury.
And on October 12th, a video seen millions of times online sparked protests and led to an apology and a review of protocol by the Edina Police Department. Larney Thomas is suing the city of Edina, saying he was the victim of racial discrimination when he was stopped for walking in the street. Count on 5 Eyewitness News to bring you all of the developments on this incident in St. Paul as we work to learn more. First, though, we go to a break. Prosecutors in a major terror case have finalized their sentencing recommendations for the Somali Minnesotans convicted of trying to join ISIS. A judge will sentence all 9 of these men in 2 weeks. Prosecutors are seeking maximum penalties for 4 of the men, but they're asking for a 4.5-year sentence for Abdurazik Warsami and just 3.5 years for Abdullahi Yusuf. 3 others convicted at trial face life sentences. Court filings show defense attorneys are pleading for leniency and much shorter sentences. All week long, we've been bringing you the story of one of those terrorists, Adan Farah. In a 5-part series, he told 5 Eyewitness News his story, how he found ISIS, why he now condemns the terrorist organization, and how he thinks he can be a part of the solution. You can watch our stories online now at KSTP.com.